And welcome back, everyone, to Black Twitch League. My name is RareAdam. Sly is just having a couple of technical difficulties there. Just wanted to get right into draft here. Got ourselves the Fiora, Bard, and Uxon ban from Hard Dr. Pepper. They do not want to see that repeat performance in the mid lane. A little bit too scary to face that Uxon. But the Set and the Lee Sin, as well as this Ezreal, is going to get picked up by Dryads versus the Urgot Lilia and Yasuo coming through from the side of Hard Dr. Pepper. So as Sly comes back into it, take us away here in this draft because we've already got ourselves the first round of picks and bans.
So Lilia and Yasuo being picked up for Hard Dr. Pepper, very different identity than they have in the last couple of games. Lilia, so skirmisher, really doesn't do that great in the Lee Sin in the skirmishing fights just because of how dangerous Lee Sin's Sonic Wave can be. Very difficult to get away from, a lot of gap close for Lee Sin, assuming that is a Lee Sin jungle, which I suspect it will be after the success of Tanner on it in the last game. And so interesting pickup. I mean, I think that means that Yasuo will probably be in the mid lane. Urgot being prioritized for Hard Dr. Pepper. Finally, we get a game without Lucian being picked up on blue first pick. And I'm not really sure about, again, the Urgot Set matchup. I know Urgot is typically a lane bully. I just don't really see how Set is able to get onto him per se. Even if he does get onto him, should be able to just flip him over you and walk away with the big shield. So Set probably more of just a comfort pick, and I don't think it's a per se losing lane, but an interesting response for the side of Dryads. As honestly, both of the solo lanes have been pretty dominant for the side of Dryads in each of these games, even despite Tanner and Burst Phantom switching in between games. We're kind of going to be picked up here for Artho, and I like the switch up here. Rakan should be able to roam quite a bit, right, with the Ezreal being able to play safe in lane. But to counteract that, Hard Dr. Pepper says, no, if you leave lane, we're going to all-in you with the Leona pick. And finally going to see a little bit of a deviation from the enchanters that we've seen versus Hook Champions the last two games. And then a Lux being hovered here, which I haven't seen in a while. I suspect that's going to be a Lux mid with Yasuo, Leona bot, combining the powers of both air and sun to lock down and CC and waylay with both sword and shield in the bot lane. Any thoughts so far on the Vlad being picked up finally? Any thoughts on so far on this draft as we have everything locked in here?
I think we've definitely got some more interesting pickups coming through from both of these sides. We get the Vladimir in that mid lane, which is a little bit different than what we're used to in general, just because it did recently get buffed, but specifically more so towards that top side. I think a lot of what we have to keep an eye on is the fact that Lux is going to have, in general, a little bit of a better time into this Vladimir in lane because it's a little bit safer. It also means that we get the Yasuo bot lane, and by how everyone is lined up, we might have Bio in the mid lane here. We'll have to keep our eye on what works out here, but should be quite interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll have to see, make sure that they didn't just mess up order. But assuming that they are in the right order, I actually think that, to me, that's more indicative that it's going to be a Lux Leona bot lane, because Impulse has played mages in every game. So far, he hasn't been shown to be an ADC player. So if he is playing in the bot lane, I think that's going to end up being a Lux ADC with a Yasuo mid. Yanni going to take it. Yeah, so Yanni has been playing ADC every game, so maybe it is going to be Yanni on the Yasuo in the bot lane, or he could be playing Yasuo top into the set with the Urgot mid, which still seems odd to me. Maybe Urgot's going to go bot. I'm not sure. This is I don't know. I think we should just hold off, honestly, and from analyzing where the lanes are going to go until we get through locked in through the timer. But
I think they're just in the wrong spots. I'm pretty sure that's what's
too.
going on. I think Anai's going to take Yasuo bot lane here. I think it should be the Lux mid lane into the Vlad. We'll have to see what works out there. But Yasuo into Ezreal, pretty good matchup, I dare say, considering you have the wind wall to block a lot of Ezreal's kit. But in conjunction with this Leona, should be interesting because there's no inherent knockups here apart from the Yasuo. So we'll keep our eye on that.
Some natural synergy between Ezreal and Rakan. Both can play very safely Rakan has a little bit of poke in his kit, not too much. Ezreal has obviously a substantive amount of poke in his kit. It should be able to play safe. Ideally, I think how this lane ends up playing out is they want to stabilize the lane wave state in a way that Ezreal can't really be dove by the Leona Yasuo, and allow Arthur on this Rakan to be able to move around the map and try and snowball some other lanes, or at least move around with Lee Sin and try and assert control into the jungle. Also, one thing to note is this is going to be Burst Phantoms Lee Sin rather than Tanner's, as it appears they have switched back and forth as well from mid and jungle. So interesting. Vlad in general doesn't typically have a lot of solo kill lane threat or solo kill threat. He certainly can solo kill, so don't get me confused. I definitely can see him getting some kills onto Impulse, especially Impulse, who really only has one skill that can stop Vlad from running at him. So I'll be curious to see how that lane goes. If Impulse and Tanner can end up going even, Impulse will finally have played the lane safely enough to, not be dying as much as he has in the last couple of games. So I'll be curious if Impulse can do that, and if he can, I actually think that bodes well for Impulse, who really should be able to be doing a lot of follow-up CC in team fights. Lilia, I think, is the most interesting matchup versus Burst Phantom, who, like I said earlier, as a jungler personally, I don't really love when I play Lilia, and I play quite a bit of her. I don't really like playing champions like Lee Sin, who can get on top of me and duel me really, really well. The one thing about Lee that's nice for Lilia is that he doesn't clear super fast, and he doesn't really do a great job with multi-target camps, whereas Lilia does. So look for Bio to be actively trying to steal Raptors and even Wolves buffs if available as much as possible. Bio should be trying to clear very quickly, trying to make sure he builds up a CS lead and then starts to get active on the map as far as ganks and fighting is concerned. Lee Sin, on the other hand, for Burst Phantom, will be looking to do 3, 4, maybe even a 5 camp early start, and then getting into ganks. And then I just don't see what top lane is going to be any different. I mean, Yucca so far has been pretty dominant up there. I don't know if Zombie Man's Urgot, despite I feel like every game he's played some sort of a lane bully, and every game he really hasn't been able to do a whole lot. So maybe this is the game where Zombie is able to get something done, but I think Yucca's kind of got his number right now. Any comments or notes on these matchups before we get into the game?
I'm just curious to see if Lily uses the new skin, because the new skin looks really whack, at least in the splash art, and we'll see what comes through. But in terms of draft, I think that Lilia into Lee Sin will be interesting because it provides you get a lot more scaling on the side of Lilia. You're able to dance around team fights a little bit better the later on into the game you get. You also have the ability to sleep a large amount of them. They have a lot of team fight capabilities here. Just going to be curious to see how this Yasuo matches up into the Ezreal, because, as we said, the wind wall is really good. If you don't have that wind wall up and available, Ezreal has so much safety, and Rakan can provide a lot of peel.
Yeah, and Rakan also a lot of engage as well. So we'll be curious to see if that ends up being utilized by Art, though. Stay tuned. We're going to go into a quick break. We have Dryads versus Hard Dr. Pepper here on Black Twitch League. We'll get into it in just a moment. We're back on the Rift here in BTL, and Dryads and Hard Dr. Pepper, their series is now 1-1, so this last game is going to decide everything. Pretty standard opening for both sides. It looks like relatively close to a 5-point. It looks like Artho may have been a little bit slow coming out of the base. No vision here on one side of Red's defense, but it's not going to be a big deal. There isn't really going to be a lot of action here. Anything interesting from Runes, or any notes for anything that's going on so far from you? I think that for me, Tanner taking Ignite Ghost and Airy, which I don't think Airy is abnormal, but the Ignite Ghost is, in my opinion, exceptionally aggressive runes. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, we'll use the word aggressive just to be nice about it. But to be honest, it is a little bit interesting to see those summoners coming out. It's not the first time I've seen Ignite Ghost Vladimir. A lot of the times, I'm just going to close chat here 1 second. A lot of times, Vladimirs do love to have that ghost, but the flash is really useful for getting yourself into the middle of the team to use those Tides of Blood. So there's a lot of different options for both of for summoners, but looks like Tanner just wants to try and get that the early kills coming through with that Ignite as well.
Raptor start here, soloing Raptors for Bio and soloing Red Buff for Burst Phantom, and they did try to fake the leash on the bot side. I don't know how much that's going to affect Bio and the side of Hard Dr. Pepper's intel. I don't know what Tanner's plan is to do. He's still doing Red Buff, by the way, so meanwhile, almost a full camp ahead Bio is at this point. Yucca kind of getting chunked down here by Zombie Man, who has, throughout the series, kind of been the one who's been losing these early trades, and it's cost him a lot of ability to walk up to the lane. So nice to see here for Zombie Man, who's hit level 2 and kind of zoning Yucca off the wave. I'm curious, what do you think? Is there any, in last game we talked about how important it was to keep the bot lane alive for the side of Dryads with their double enchanters. Is there any, what's the strategy in this game?
I think the strategy in this one is to sort of, at least for the side of Hard Dr. Pepper, is to kind of make sure that you can get to that mid game. This game as well, they've got some okay laning. The Urgot should have a decent time against the likes of this set, but in the mid game is really where they're going to excel. They have a lot of tools to be able to burst out some of these members. You have the Fear Beyond Death, you have the Prismatic Laser as well, so a lot of different options for the side of Hard Dr. Pepper. Whereas on the flip side, they have some more early game potential, but they have this Ezreal who's going to keep them very safe come mid game as well, because you'll have that range advantage. So really going to be who pulls the trigger first, because I think the re-engage on the side, the re-engage is going to be difficult for both these teams considering how little engage they have in the first place.
A little bit of a fight going here on the bot side, as Pixel Wolf has got no minions, and he's kind of stacking a wave and crashing it. Pixel and Arthur are going to do a great job of trying to freeze it close to the tower, hopefully thin it out, and then insulate themselves. Bio looking to get the bowling ball onto Yucca, misses it. Flash, dash, Yucca also going to burn Flash, so both flashes down for the top side of the map. Burst Phantom's coming in, teleport coming out. I believe that's Zombie Fan, and Arthur is in a little bit of trouble. Teleport being burned by Zombie Man, not able to really pick anything up besides maybe a good little chunk of Arthur's health bar. It looks like Impulse and Zombie Man both used it. I believe Yucca interrupted the teleport attempt, and now going to be trading back on to Zombie Man. Bunch of damage there. Flash being burnt by Impulse, who's going to get hit by the back end of the Sonic Wave. Able to get the binding down, but I think Tanner's going to ghost him down. Ignite coming out, yeah, and Impulse is going to go down here. Shielding's not going to be enough. Yucca, meanwhile, is in trouble with Bio on the top side of the map. Bio having to flash out, using as much healing as possible. I think that last minion might kill him. Oh, wow. Just the tip. Just the tip, Adam. And that's going to be Bio going down to Yucca. Flash is coming out. Zenith Blade not going to be able to land on a Pixel Wolf, who was able to Arcane Shift out of it. And now... wow, what a close... these games have yet to disappoint. A lot of action for both sides. Bad with a P, looking to try to get a Zenith Blade into big wave, though, and he's probably talking him out of it, saying, hey, we don't really want to fight into these minions. And now both mid and top have a single kill lead in each of these solo lanes. Kind of seems to be the story of the day for these two teams.
Yeah, Dryads are looking really good coming out of the gate here already. A little bit overextended from Bio, as you said, but that's the power of Ignite Ghost. You're able to chase someone down. You know, Ghost ends up giving you more units of mobility over the course than Flash. It's just that it takes time to ramp up, of course, at least in terms of distance. You don't have to ramp up the movement speed anymore, I don't believe, but overall, Tanner picking up that early kill is going to bode really well. Gave him a little bit more lane priority as well, and you can see that Impulse is already struggling here in this mid lane.
Yucca is throwing around Zombie Man a little bit up there. Not able to really do a lot, but maybe just asserting dominance with the Whiplash, the slight item advantage to the boots and cloth armor for Zombie Man. And it looks like Burst Phantom might be looking for something down in the bot side while Yucca is getting this pretty nice trade onto Zombie Man. He's going to be seen, Burst Phantom's going to be seen by Vision and pinged off. Going to back off a little bit as this Dragon gets started up for the side of the Dryads, who going to get a nice little Ocean Dragon to start off the game, which can't complain about that during lane phase.
Definitely can't complain about that early Ocean Dragon, giving you that little bit of regeneration. And Lilia just trying to get to that level 6 mark as quickly as possible. Once she gets that sleep, she has a little bit more agency in terms of coming through and picking up those kills. Of note, did not go for the newer skins, so I am immediately dissatisfied with this Lilia. But regardless, in terms of the laning thus far, it's just very in favor of Dryads. Even in the bot lane, where Yasuo has a little bit of a CS lead, Ezreal has just been able to stay safe, and this is generally the point in time where Ezreal is the most susceptible to dying. So we'll have to keep our eye on if Lilia wants to make a play down towards that bot side, or if it will be the Lee Sin opting to try and take down this Yasuo.
I really wanted to go and take that red buff there. He walked all the way up there and then was like, okay, I don't have a mid or a top. I can't do this. And he talks himself out of it. Probably could have gotten it and gotten away, but definitely making the safer decision despite wasting quite a bit of time walking all the way over from his wolf camp to that top side of, or to the enemy red buff entrance. So I just am a little disappointed with Bio not being more ahead, I guess, with the amount of tempo that Burst Phantom seems like he's been applying to me, especially with how they ran down Impulse in the jungle. I don't think that his lead is as substantial as it ought to be at this stage in the game, especially with how much more efficient of a clearer Lilia is in comparison to Burst Phantom's Lee Sin. As Burst Phantom looks like he's walking in here trying to get a setup for Zombie Man. Should see him, gonna dash to the ward, get the Sonic Wave. Very nice insect into a suplex. You're getting pulled so far back. Man, it felt like you know, in cartoons, whenever they pulled off stand-up comedians in like Bugs Bunny or something, they used like the shepherd's hook to pull them back. Yeah. That's what it felt like to me. It just kept going and going. Artho is gonna get oh my gosh, bad with a B. Able to get a nice solar flare onto both targets, going to result in both Artho and Pixel Wolf going down. Yucca is teleported in and is now kind of deep. Going to be in a little bit of trouble. He does not have ultimate. He does have flash. I don't think he's going to be able to get out of this. Bad with the P trying to do his best to lock him down. Ends up getting a lot of that Superman punch in on the damage, but I think Bio is going to be able to, it just barely misses the W, but able to pick up the kill. And that's a nice little shutdown onto Lilia, who is certainly a win condition if you're the side of hard Dr. Pepper. And now coming out here from Impulse, who is going to get dove by Danner and Burst Phantom, getting punished, I guess, for being under her tower. If that's a thing. Pretty brutal. You can't really do a whole lot if you're Impulse other than maybe keep your Q up and pray to whatever god you believe in, because that's not very fun.
Yeah, you've got to just keep your eye on how this Lilia is going to be able to translate with those kills, because she has all of those kills thus far. Impulse has just had a really rough time laning in the last couple of games here. Tanner has his number this game, whereas Burst Phantom last game on that Akshan was able to take advantage. But I like to see this Yasuo still trying to flex the muscles down on that bot side. 82 CS at 10 minutes. Really good farming compared to the Ezreal. So we'll have to see how this Lilia and the Lilia, Yasuo, and Leona, how they're going to be able to play this mid game, because those are the members who have that advantage thus far.
Right, and I mean, Impulse, albeit is behind, always still relevant, has a lot of burst potential, a nice zone control with the think something singularity, whatever her E is called.
Lucid
It's
Singularity.
yeah, exactly.
It's a hard name.
So having the zone control there is really nice, and so it's not so bad that he gets behind. What is bad is that Tanner is ahead, because Tanner is going to be scaling really nicely, and he's going to be very potent. So it's going to be a little scary there for the side of hard Dr. Pepper as Tanner gets stronger and stronger. But at the same time, I mean, Bio is also a major scaling threat. I mean, Lilia is nothing to be scoffed at in the mid and late game, especially as you touched on earlier in the cast about how she has this ability to sleep several members. As First Phantom's going to find Bio here in the jungle towards the Raptor camp, gets slept, and Impulse is going to say, about damn time. You don't get to mess around with me over this Raptor wall. I'm going to burst him into oblivion.
Just a lot of damage coming through. That's really good flash coming through from Impulse to finally get onto the board. But overall, Tanner, actually, Burst Phantom getting a little bit caught out. But oh, topside.
Zombie Man going to be able to make a nice execution kill. I mean, Tanner is up here, but I don't really think he's going to be able to do anything. Pops Ghost, who looks to dive, uses the ultimate, gets the E and W. Yeah, maybe he is going to be able to find something easy pick up there onto Zombie Man by Tanner. Uses both summoners, but who cares? It's a nice little kill and going to be able to avenge his friend. So Dragon potentially going over here to Bio and Bad with a P. Yanni also coming over to help make sure it's secured. That wave is crashing. I don't even think that Pixel and Artho are going to contest it, really. They're walking over, but I don't. I think it's just for show. Trying to get eyes on it. Tries to stop an eyes recall, but barely misses the Q, I guess. It looked like it hit to me, but it just barely misses. So Dragon going to go over to the side of hard Dr. Pepper, and we've got ourselves another really close game. Like 300 gold differential at 12 minutes here.
Yeah, this is a really close game. This is a lot better than or a lot different than what we saw in Game 1 and Game 2, where both of these teams are going blow for blow thus far. I think we've got to keep our eye on this Vladimir as well as this Lilia, as we've been saying, because those are sort of the members with all of that gold right now. Vladimir scales well, Lilia scales well, Seth scales decently well, Yasuo scales pretty well as well. So there's a lot of potential for these mid-game fights, to be very explosive.
So far, Impulse still a little behind, hasn't finished Mythic yet, which is a little it's not completely off, right? 13 minutes, not completely required that you have a Mythic, but considering the tempo of the rest of the solo laners, both of the solo laners for Dryads have their Mythics completed, whereas neither of the hard Dr. Pepper solo laners have it. Bio, on the other hand, does have his Mythic secured. Quite a bit of stacks here on the Dark Seal as well as on the 3-in-1 Lilia, who's now coming over maybe to do a little bit of action here in the bot lane. And I not able to land the Wind Gust. Herald coming down. I'm not sure. Oh, wow. Insect here onto Impulse. It's going to go down. Yeah, you're dead. Sorry, Impulse. See you, buddy. Herald going to get some plates here. I don't know that they'll be able to take the actual tower. Just the way it was placed. I think they could have waited a little longer, but Bios is looking to dive. He ends up getting the sleep onto Pixel Wolf. Both targets are going to get knocked up. The huge W coming down. Artho going to be able to get taken down. Pixel Wolf looks like he might be able to make it out. She just barely does it. Pixel going down as well. Burst Phantom getting ulted by the Yasuo, and that ends up being 3 kills for none. Not to mention the first kill in the mid lane. So really 4 kills being picked up there. Yucca trying to make an unofficial ace as he ults. Getting taken down too low, and Zombie Man said, no, man, I'm sick of you trying to bully me around. So ends up picking up the kill, and despite Yucca getting taken down by Zombie Man, that's still a really big play if you're the side of Dryads on hard Dr. Pepper, who hard Dr. Pepper onto Dryads, who are now a 3k lead, or almost a 3k, 2.5k lead over on Dryads.
It's just really good game state for this side of hard Dr. Pepper. They're able to come back into this one with a little bit more conviction. Really, the only casualty there was Impulse, as they're able to execute a really well-played dive on the bot side, as well as the Urgot starting to scale up a little bit and being a little bit harder for Yucca to really bully out Zombie Man. That ultimate is just so useful at shredding someone down from 25% HP. So as we get into the later stages of this game with a Cloud Soul coming up, Going to be interesting to see who prioritizes that, because you've got some really strong ultimates on both sides this time around, where you want that cooldown reduction as much as possible.
Can you see that thing right there on Vlad's back? Do you see that? Are you able to see that on the cast?
On Vlad's...
That's the whole team! The whole team right there! Right there! Adam, Tanner's got the whole team on his back right now. He's got 4 kills. He's got almost all of the kills. Yucca has now been solo killed twice by Zombie Man. Or excuse me, once by Zombie Man and once by, well, I think twice by Zombie Man. And now he's going to be in trouble again as the binding's going to get him locked down. The nice little flash W going to try and finish this off. The shield's going to be coming down, and the ult is going to take him back to the tower as he dunks down the final bit of health on Impulse, who's now dead. And nice little ultimate by Yanni onto Tanner.
Okay.
Tanner going to be, you know, it looks like that weight of the whole team maybe a little too heavy there for Tanner, who gets taken down with the last shot of the tower. Artho trying to get a little bit of trade back on Bat with a P with Burst Phantom over here, but meanwhile Bio is interrupting. Yucca's back, very close to killing him. He probably isn't going to be able to do anything until that passive goes away. Gonna walk up and get a Q. I think the passive will take him down, yeah. And so Bio able to pick up the kill onto Yucca, very nice. And Yucca, excuse me, Bio is now in the driver's seat for the side of Hard Dr. Pepper with a nice little full clear lead on Burst Phantom, 16 camps, or excuse me, 16 CS is 4 camps, which is an entire clear. So nice little lead here for Bio over Burst Phantom, and able to continue applying pressure in some of these duels against some of the solo laners.
You've just got to keep an eye on what this Vladimir is going to do, because despite going down and giving up that shutdown, still extremely strong. And looking at the gold difference between them right now, about 2,000 gold over the lane opponent. But looking at the richest members in the game, it's that Lilia and that Yasuo. So honestly, the melee bot laners this time around, or the non-marksmans, have been the strongest bot laners, you know, despite the, the Seraphine not being as strong, still was a very big part of that. But around this Cloud Dragon, we gotta get a full engage.
Flash Q there by Lilia, gonna get a 2-man sleep. Burst Phantom being taken down. Yucca's gonna end up bursting out. Burst Phantom is going to get kicked, gonna have to kick Zombie Man away. Barely able to survive after the brink of death, and now this fight is getting close and close. Artho is getting low as well as he tries to back out and picks Wolf, take it down. Bio able to clean things up there towards the end between Bio and Yanni, who was never in any threat during the entire duration of the fight. That's going to be Dragon for Hard Dr. Pepper.
And that's a big gold swing for them as well. They pick up their second Dragon of the game. They're going to pick up this mid turret as well, and that should give them upwards of a 5,000 gold lead. A lot of that gold on this Yasuo, on this Lilia. They're just going to continue to get stronger. It's really going to be difficult for this Ezreal to be able to stay safe because of how many dashes and how many skill shots that he has to dodge. You know, Lilia can just sort of flash into the team, as we saw. Use that Q, got a 2-man sleep, and it was basically a team fight over from there.
Very, very nice team fight overall for Bio, who flash engage into the Lilia sleep. Impulse able to get a pretty decent amount of AoE damage with the Lux ultimate. And I never in any threat. I think that is an issue. If I'm the side of Dryads, I'm like, okay, this NI needs to be locked down, or Bio needs to be locked down. One of those two needs to get locked down, bursted out, and killed. And really don't have a lot of tools to do that. Quite frankly, you have Rakan, and then you have maybe a Lee Sin kick, and then maybe Yucca being able to stun people up, pulling them in, or suplex them. I just don't really have the tools drafted to do that. However, you do have a lot of damage. Tanner, as long as he continues to scale, should be able to burst down just about any target on the side of Hard Dr. Pepper. So maybe just stalling out the game is the plan if you're Dryads, so you can hopefully get into later stages where Vlad is an absolute monster.
Yeah, it's really on the back of Vlad, as you said, to carry this game. It's going to be extremely difficult. But on the flip side, this Yasuo, I dare say Yanni is just better at Yasuo and Yone in the bot lane than anything else, because that's exactly what we've seen thus far. It's just really strong gameplay coming out from the two anime swordsmen down in that bot side from Yanni. So just going to keep our eye on what that means for later. But Tanner's in trouble.
Zombie Man is searching down Tanner, who's running towards the enemy tower, gonna get chunked down by Bio, doing his best to stay alive.
Oh no!
Almost takes Bio out, but not quite able to. Very, very close. Bio with just a sliver, less than 50 health there. Able to survive on the back of the Zanyas, but Tanner maybe a little overextended, and obviously no plan for the side of Dryads to accomplish anything cross map or get any vision or anything set up. So really an attack onto Tanner and no consequence if you're the side of Dryads, despite sending so many members to secure that kill. So Dryads really need to figure out what they're going to be doing to punish Hard Dr. Pepper for these sort of aggressive plays.
Yeah, just got to keep an eye on what Hard Dr. Pepper, if they can temper their aggression to an extent, make sure they're taking the right fights every single time. Sometimes when you're fed, it gets hard to keep that in mind, but this might be a little bit tough for the side of Dryads.
Zombie Man teleporting in, trying to deny the pick onto Impulse here. A nice knock-up, and that's going to be Burst Phantom being taken down. Yucca being threatened to dive. A sleep comes out. Yucca going to get chunked down. Artho looks like he's going to be next, and that's 3 for 0 if you're Hard Dr. Pepper able to continue this. Bowling Ball looking to come out for Bio. He's not done. He's dropping Herald. They're looking to try and take tier 2 in this top side after this huge team fight win over on that side of the map.
Yeah, they're able to find themselves some really good picks up on the top side, take advantage of the over-aggression from the side of Dryads, and Hard Dr. Pepper just have full control over this game. 8,000 gold in the lead. Baron is up and available if they opt to take it, but Bio might just be hunting for some more flesh, I dare say.
I recall in the first game on his Zed, he sat in that bush for like a minute and a half and trying to make picks, so I'm sure he's trying to do the same thing. He seems to be an assassin player, having played Zed and Rengar tonight before the Lilia, so looking to make a pick here on to Tanner, who's maybe a little overextended again, trying to pull through the CC, able to get the ultimate down. Maybe he'll be able to survive through the health, but Bio is going to flash Q, and that's going to be another kill secured with Dragon spawning in 45 seconds. Tanner's now dead and will be dead up until about 8 seconds before the spawn. Bad with the P, he's going to flash over the wall trying to avoid Yucca, who loses the speed boost after she falls out of range. The Sonic Wave not able to connect onto Leona as Bio runs back in, finding Pixel Wolf, who arcane shifts and flashes as far as he can go. Pixel Wolf going to be able to get out of there. Burst Phantom trying to kick away an eye, and this is just a cluster. Yucca running after Bio, not really able to get anything, ends up flashing the wall. Nice little...
Oh no!
Oh, Luxel. Bio not able to pick it up. He's going to end up Zanyasing to try and deny some of the damage. And Bad with the P also going to do a great job of taking over some of the aggro from the tower as Dragon's about to spawn.
Yeah, it's just really difficult for anyone from the side of Dryads to be able to pick up a kill. You can see how long they can tank up that tower, how tanky their front line is. Urgot only on an item and a half, but Leona with enough stats to back it up. It's looking really rough for the side of Dryads. They need to try and find the shutdowns here onto this Yasuo, onto this Lilia, but with 3 items on both of them, they aren't the easiest to take down in a 1v1 or even a 1v2. Lilia can run out of there and Yasuo can just kill both of you.
Yeah, we went from Tanner being a 4-0-1 Vlad as well to being a 4-4-1 Vlad, and it really seems like the weight of the team collapsing him down and making him stumble as he tries to keep doing things in the side lanes and is getting punished pretty significantly by Hard Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, just really waiting for Dryads to try and take a fight, because if they can execute perfectly, they should be able to win it. But Yanni just does so much damage, very tanky, really hard to kill this Yasuo, especially when he has both summoners up. So unless they try and find a little bit of a skirmish and get out with all of their members and burn some summoners, that's really the only way they're going to be able to win a fight, is if they have that summoner advantage. But yeah, the Ezreal doesn't have any sums. Yucca, no flash, no ghost available on Tanner quite yet, so they're just ceding so much map pressure over to the side of Hard Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, and really, the hard part for... my voice cracks. The hard part for Dryads to be able to do anything is that they really need Artho to be the one engaging and applying pressure. However, and Artho getting a nice little knock up the kick as well. Bio might be in trouble here trying to do as much. Gets shut down by Vlad. Burst Phantom barely alive, ends up getting taken down. Impulse looks like he's going to go down as well. The teleport coming in from Yucca, who maybe they want to look to try and do this Baron, but it's going to be difficult with both junglers dead. Maybe a 50-50, and using the blast cone to try and get away. Goes into the tri-bush as Tanner's looking to apply some pressure. And I going to try and get the knockup, not able to land it. Going to get suplexed backwards by Yucca. Yucca is looking for the kill, and a nice ultimate by Yanni, who's going to be able to continue this fight, able to go 1-for-1 there, getting Tanner taken down. So now it's a 3 versus 3 over on this top side of the map, I believe. No, 2v3. So in total, it ends up being 2 for 3 in favor of Dryads. So nice little pickup there, getting the shutdown, by the way, onto Bio, and that goes over to Tanner, who really needs the gold. I think that's probably one of the most important people to be collecting that gold. And nice little team fight. What went right there that enabled Dryads to be able to start getting a little bit, chipping away at this massive gold lead on the side of Hard Dr. Pepper, Adam?
I think a lot of that just came down to a really early Zhonya's being forced out from Bio. Wasn't able to get the sleep off, wasn't really able to get a whole lot of anything. Didn't have that flash up from earlier, so good pick to get that shutdown, but there's still a lot of work to do for the side of Dryads. They closed the gold gap a little bit. They got a lot of gold onto this Ezreal as well as onto that Vladimir, so onto the members that you really need that gold on, but overall still going to be a vicious uphill climb for them.
Went from about a 10k gold differential to a little over 6k as well, so it's nice to see that Dryads are chipping away a little bit, at least, maybe showing signs of life, despite this Dragon Soul point here coming up in a minute and a half.
Yeah, just gonna have to see if they can put any sort of contest against the Soul. Giving up Cloud Soul isn't necessarily game ending, but it definitely gives it a little bit more of a difficult time. One thing to keep in mind is they could give up this Dragon and just go for Baron themselves, because the side of Dryads are forced into a little bit of a catch-22. You either give up the Soul and try and get Baron, or you take the Dragon yourself and give up Baron for sure.
Or end up in a fight at either of those two objectives, as Yanni is looking to engage onto Tanner. Solar Flare going to land onto Tanner after the pull, and that's going to be Impulse picking up the kill onto Tanner 50 seconds before this Dragon spawns. Just again, Tanner being a little overextended, being a little too far up, and results in him getting picked off. It seems to be a big highlight of this game, and maybe even a tactic on the side of Hard Dr. Pepper, who start up Baron.
This Baron's going down really quickly. We'll have to see if Artho can get the engage off, or if Pixel Wolf can peel off, but looks like they're just going to turn it around.
Yucca going in, just committing, and a full setting gets setting. Ends up getting killed there. Pixel trying to get out, Artho trying to get out. At a minimum, they stopped the Baron, but yeah, set ends up being taken down, and looks like they're going to walk over, pick up this free Dragon as it spawns.
Yep, going to pick up the free Dragon. That's a soul for them. They don't need to worry about Baron being taken on the opposite side of the map, because there's no one who can tank it up. They know exactly where this Ezreal and Vladimir are, so Cloud Soul going to go over to the side of Hard Dr. Pepper. 7,000 gold lead back in their favor, or at least back up to a 7,000 gold lead. And Yasuo going to start to work towards that Guardian Angel that we saw last time around on the Yone. We'll see if that stopwatch can get used effectively, as well as when the Guardian Angel comes, if they can just get a couple extra kills off of the back of that Guardian Angel, being able to sort of tank up a little bit more.
I'm not sure what the Darkseal stacks were at before it got converted over to Medjai's whenever Bio died earlier, but now at 8 stacks on the Medjai's makes that item maybe, well, significantly less efficient. I suspect it was close to being fully stacked prior to her death. But something to keep a note on.
Darkseal before. She picked up the Medjai's at 4 stacks and now has 8 stacks on it.
Okay, so I know that she had, I think she had 7 stacks on the Darkseal at one point. I think I made a comment about it. That was the last time I checked, quite a bit earlier in the game. But I just wanted to point that out. So maybe that is something that you can look at if you're the side of Dryads. You can say, hey, Lily's maybe not as strong as you could be as they start up this Baron. Vision getting set down by Leona, going to be spotting out Burst Phantom, who pretty much is the only potential for teleport coming in for Yucca, who is going to at least dissuade the side of Hard Dr. Pepper on this Baron. They're forcing out the TP, which is nice. They should have teleport advantage between Zombie Man and Impulse, and Some poke coming out. Yucca maybe a little far up here, as bad with a P. Honestly, who was also on his own, walking up there into Yucca's face. They're all going to walk out a little bit, playing a very awkward dance here. I don't understand fully why so much respect is being given over to the Dryads, who, on all honesty, probably don't deserve it in this gold differential of about almost 7.5 gold lean. I do think that if you're the side of, and maybe the poke was just too much, Impulse being poked down a little bit, but overall, Pixel and Impulse really the only poke threats for each team, so I don't really know if I agree with the backing off there, but either way, Baron ends up being stopped if you're the side of Dryads, and I think that's a W.
They're able to get the teleport out. That's really the only victory for Hard Dr. Pepper. The main thing that the side of Dryads have to be concerned is the longer that they stall out this Baron, the more likely that Elder Dragon's going to be on the map at the same time as Baron, and that's something you don't want. As of right now, if they were to take Baron, Elder Dragon would be spawning right at the kick end of that Baron buff. So right as they lose one game-ending buff, they pick up the other one. So gotta keep your eye on how those objectives are going to match up, because it can be very difficult if you have to trade one for the other, especially when one team is super far ahead. But Bio gonna drop to sleep.
Arthur's gonna get slept, gets pretty far out. Tanner also getting slept, and now Pool and Desania's suplex coming out, but I think Tanner's going down, absolutely. Bad with a P getting knocked around by Yucca, who tries to flash during the shield. Yucca's gone as well. Double kill over there for Impulse, and now that's going to be Baron for sure to the side of Hard Dr. Pepper, unless they try to do some sort of shenanigans with Vision and make a pick. Yeah, they're going over to Baron. This should be Baron. There's not a lot of wave clear for the side of and Zombie doing a great job of trying to zone off. Burst Phantom just barely avoiding the Lux ultimate and Zombie Man's ultimate. Who's going to flash and keep running him down. The W, pretty hard to avoid automated target select shooting whenever you're Urgot. Those don't get dodged, unfortunately. So Baron going to go over. Burst Phantom doing his best to try and get in position for a steal despite being on Vision. And Bio's going to lock in that Baron. So now Soul and Baron on the side of Hard Dr. Pepper, able to pick up tier 2 mid as well in who may end up going over to try and secure tier 2 bot lane. No, so he's going to get a reset in. And now this Elder comes up in a minute and a half. If you're Hard Dr. Pepper, you have Dragon. You almost have, probably are going to be able to have Elder. What is your game plan for closing out this game?
I think it's just you can keep pushing these waves and pick up the Elder Dragon for yourself, and you should be good after that. So don't think there's too much to be worried about if you are the side of the Hard Dr. Pepper. You just got to make sure you don't throw.
Right, and you also have both teleports, right? So you can apply pressure cross map in pretty much any direction. Lux can always be there for the Elder. Zombie Man on the Urgot can always be there for the Elder. So yeah, not a lot of threat there. And is going to be on the solo split in the bot lane. Bio going to eat that Sonic Wave and throw up the Lux emote because he knows that Burst Phantom can't really follow up or do anything. And crashing that wave in. Pretty much all of Dryads are sitting under this tier 3 mid, trying to defend as a group because they know they don't have a lot of wave clear, and 2, they don't really want to get caught out. Arthur going to eat that bowling ball in the face as the wave just begin to crash. Tanner going to go and collect that top wave. Burst Phantom down here with Pixel Wolf and Arthur collecting both mid and bot waves as Elder Dragon spawns in 30 seconds.
Elder Dragon going to spawn while they still have that Baron, and they're just looking for a bait here. They're going to force the side of Dryads to come into their jungle and look for the kill. So very cautiously awaiting to see what will happen, because this is looking really scary for the side of Dryads.
Yeah, Arthur getting a little poked down, but yeah, Yucca gets the nice ultimate suplex into the big damage on an Yucca did a great job there. Ultimate coming out for Vlad, who's going to end up, Zombie Man end up picking up Yucca. The fight kind of in 2 different directions, 2 down so far for Dryads. Big re-engage here. Burst Phantom kind of caught up, not able to get away from Yanni, who is going to pick up the quadra kill. Yanni going from the brink of death into a triple. I thought it was a quadra, so maybe it was a triple. Pixel Wolf ends up getting taken down there for the ace, and that's going to be the game. Dryads getting taken down by Hard Dr. Pepper in this week of BTL action.
Yep, just going to end up being a 2-1 in favor of Hard Dr. Pepper. Back and forth series, they won game 1 really convincingly, fell in game 2, but they were able to clean it up in the end, and they're going to be going home with the victory in their pocket.
That'll be it for this game between Dryads and Hard Dr. Pepper. Hard Dr. Pepper picking it up again, 2-1 over Dryads. If you just tuned in, stay around. We're going to have some more BTL action at 9 Eastern time. And if you want to watch that game, hop back in. But this has been it for Sly and Adam. Take care. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.